Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Let's look at problem 3761, minimum absolute distance between mirror pairs. This is the medium problem. So actually if you look at the problem statement, you can see this is another two-sum-like problem. So therefore the strategy we are going to use to solve this problem is the same as addressing two-sum problem, that is dictionary and check. Before we go to the coding part, there's one thing I want you to notice. That is, in the definition of mirror pair, right? So it's the second bullet item says that leading zeros are omitted after reversing. So for example, if you reverse 120, so you get 0, 0 to 1, then you need to strip the left leading zeros, right? This is a very subtle detail. What we want to return is the minimum absolute distance between the indices of any mirror pair. So the absolute distance between two indices are their absolute value, right? If no mirror pair exists, we're going to return -1. So here, basically, the thing is that we can store the mirrored say string, right? You can interpret it as a string or convert it into a string. So if this one, you're going to get 21 or 21, so it's corresponding to index 0. Then you use this 21 to check, the index is 0, so here the index is 1, so the distance is 1. So similarly, you can check this one. So if you store, you are going to store 5, 4, right? So then when you look at this one, you are going to get the distance 2. But the minimal distance in this example is 1, right? So this is the example 1. So in the example 2, right, so it says the leading 0. So if you reverse, you are going to get 0 to 1. Stripping the leading 0, you get 2, 1. So this is also 2, 1. So the distance is 1. So in this one, you get 1, 2, right? But it's different from this one. So you get a -1. So here we have the constraints. So which one is the length? So this gives the problem size. So here the problem says that elements are positive. So with that said, I will say this is a rather standard problem. So if you look at our channel, so you will find a lot of this problem using dictionary and check or set and check. So now let's look at coding. So in between, I'm going to explain the logic. So I'm going to set n to be the length. So you don't need to introduce this variable, but introducing it is also okay. So here I'm going to set result to be n because we want to find a minimum. So we initialize it with a very large number. So the distance is at most, n-1. So here we use n. That's large enough. So here I'm going to use a dictionary. So all you can set using D is dict. The letter is more specific. Then we are going to do the dictionary and check. We just need a for loop. So for I, y in enumerate nums. So we need to check. So current, the dictionary we are going to store strings. So here, current, I'm going to make it a string, right? And then I'm going to check if this string appears in the for, right? So in the dictionary, we always store the latest index of a certain string, right? So what I'm going to do is if current is in dictionary, then we can update the result to be the minimum of the previous state, and then the current index, because the current index is larger, minus d current, right? So no matter current in dictionary or not, one thing we need to do is to update the indices. So first, the key will be something like this. So the current, right? So it's a string now. So I'm going to reverse that. And then I'm going to use left strip. Left strip the zeros, right? This is very important. You can see example 2, right? So in this one, you are going to store 2, 1, right? For example, in example 2, you are going to store 2, 1 rather than 0 to 1, right? So then update the indices to be I, right? So finally, we just need to return the result if result is less than n. Actually, yeah, if it's less than n, means that we have updated that. Otherwise, so you're going to return -1 based on the problem requirement. So now we can run this. Yeah, it passes all the cases. Now let's submit. Yeah, it passes all the cases. So I would say it's very crucial when you do a lot of problems. So you need to identify the patterns, right? Identify the patterns, then you can quickly use the corresponding techniques, method, or tricks to address the pattern. With that said, I guess that's it for the current video. Thank you for watching.